Hi, Editing Joyous here. I forgot to mention only a small percentage of people are actually subscribed, so if you wouldn't mind subscribing, it helps out a lot. Thank you. Hey guys, I'm here with a bit of a different video. And this video is different because it's a story time. Yay, woo, story time! Something a bit different, and there's something I'm gonna tell you about myself, and it's true, and it's funny. And I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm a funny person. No, 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 no. I can make the occasional joke, but really, these are things you wouldn't see on camera. And there are four things. And I'll just name them out now and I'll explain. So, for what I had on my little list, my little page of paper, I had dumbass, brain dead, breaks everything, and the aura of chaos that just kind of goes around me. And a couple of those words may seem mean, may seem very, very mean. But no, this is my honest, personal opinion of what has happened. And I feel like this is a slight view of people who actually know me. And these will be people that are my friends. And so let's explain the first one, dumbass. That first one is because people go like, this is a bad idea. I'm like, I know. And I'm going to do it anyways. And usually you can go like, oh, you're gonna do that and you're gonna get hurt. No, sometimes I'm just miraculous, and I just don't get hurt. It's hilarious, cause that either that happens or I get hurt badly, and it's just funny, cause I'll get hurt in a stupid way, and I think I've done something like, I don't even know, I've probably done something with like a pencil or something, and probably hurt myself with that somehow. I don't know. It's been a while. It would have been something I would have done years ago. Anyways, brain dead. Sometimes I just don't know what the conversation is that's going on, and I will just contribute something that is not at all part of the conversation, and it's just funny because it's not part of the conversation, and it's like, why are you even mentioning this? Yeah, it's good. It makes for entertaining situations. Breakable or breaking. I can break most things, and there's gonna be a story too about breaking because that's my common theme. Yeah, you could give me anything that can't be broken, and I'll probably find a way to break it within a couple weeks. And this is not me just being like, oh, I'm gonna take a hammer to this. No, this is me being like, oh, I'll just walk with it in my living room, and then I'll just drop it, and it'll just shatter, and I'll be like, uh-oh. And the last one is a bit of the wall of chaos, or the aura of chaos. Because anytime I come into a zone, either I will be extremely lucky and that luck will be just BS. It's so good. Or it will just be horrible. And that horrible luck can go anywhere. And it's funny because I'll just come up to someone and I'll just be like, I broke this. And they're like, what'd you do? I was like, I just appeared. And it's just stopped working now. Which leads into a story. And this is an actual work story. This happened maybe a month back. I just woke up, ate breakfast, getting a drop into work. And in our work, we have this giant lift. It's for these giant trawlers. And we have to fill them up with cardboard upstairs that is linked to another place that kind of funnels our cardboard in with us. And we have to empty it once a week. Now, it just so happens I was working this week. And it's lovely because what happened was... Sorry. It's lovely because I get in, I do some trolleys because you gotta do that and when you get into work because I work in a supermarket. So I go outside, finish doing trolleys, do the little couple boxes by baler, which crushes the cardboard and puts them into a giant bale that we have to then throw out. And I go over to the lift, and I'm like, huh, the lift's open. And then because our lift is older, it's probably 20 or 30 years old, and there's a little chain to make sure that the metal door doesn't swing open when it's going up and down. So I adjust the chain, and I'm like, okay, close the giant door, and I hit up on the little button panel, and it doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, so I could be wrong here. And I reopen it, and I move the chain around because sometimes if it's in a bad position where the door has too much leeway, it won't move because it's it's got too much leeway. So then I go, okay, and then I switch the chain to a different location, and I'm like, alright, this seems very tight. Go back, close the door, up button. Nothing happens. I do this 7 times, Not even working once. We have technically we've got two bosses. We've got the main boss, and then we have a boss that's in the back area where I am. And that boss I do get along a lot more with, and I like him. It's like if the guy English, my brain's shutting down. This is what I mean by brain dead. If because as I said, there's two bosses. The one in the back, let's say he's like assistant manager, pretty much. So he is technically a manager I can report to, but he's lower. And anyways, I go up to him and I'm like, the lift's not working because he's like 30 feet away. He's like across the room, 30 feet away at an angle. And then I just go, the lift's broken. And I just he just comes over and he's like, all right, what'd you do to the lift? And I'm like, I don't know, I just appeared. And he's like, again? This has happened to you again? And I'm like, yep, this third time this week. And he's like, all right, let's try and fix this. And he does a bunch of things like this little hammer on the lift. So that hammer swings down when it's up, and I think it swings up when it's coming down on the lift. But this hammer swung down already. So he's trying to like push it up with a broom as we close the door to make sure that it stays up. And there's another little latch thing above it, and he tries working with that, and he tries switching the chain, and nothing works. We do this for about 5 to 10 minutes. And one of the people who actually, she works like most days. But I talk with this person specifically, and they have seen everything my aura of chaos has done, and it's amazing because they know it all. And then I love how I go over to them, and because they're like 2 feet away, and I just go, I broke the lift, and they're like, wait, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, I just peered, and it's not working now. And she's like, really? This happens to you like almost every day. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why. And I'm like, I'm just unlucky. I've just got this aura of chaos. And she's there laughing. The assistant manager's laughing, and then we couldn't get the lift working that day. I had to text my coworker because he was working the next day. I'm like, you're gonna have to do the other thing with the lift tomorrow. I'm like, it may not be working. And then like 2 days later, I'm working with that coworker. I'm like, oh yeah, was the lift working? And he's like, yeah, it was actually working when I came in. And I'm like, of course, it's just me. It's hilarious. But yeah, and yeah, I've had a couple bad moments, very bad moments. This happened before. This is another story. This happened before Christmas, and I don't know why. I was just rushing for work. I had woken up late. I had eaten breakfast, but like I had 5 minutes till my left to work was getting there, and I was just rushing. I was throwing on my shoes. I was getting on my uniform. I was like, okay, just move. And I didn't get anything in my pockets. So I had my keys in my pockets. I had my small little headset, my little Bluetooth headsets. Because whenever my father's late, I go out to the very front and I wait for him, and then I plug in my Bluetooth headsets, and I just kind of like relax and I wait. And it's not quite. It's better because it's an easier turn for my dad to make. Instead of going to like the very back of the shop to park, he just has to go right where the entrance is, and then he can just swing and pick me up, and then we can go out quicker. So usually that's what happens. But this specific morning, things did not go well. And there was a watering can outside my door, and this is like a giant blue one, like up to roughly where your kneecaps would be. It's a big watering can. And it had been filled up with rainwater because my dad, I think, wanted to collect rainwater for some of his plants because he has a little greenhouse and I think not only does he have a greenhouse somewhere else, but I think we had some of our bigger potted plants outside. We usually have them inside, but I think he had them outside because it was raining, and I think he wanted to collect more rainwater. But God love it, I hated him for this because what happened was I was plugging my key into the door, and in the same hand with my key, I have my phone, and I'm trying to like turn the key, and yeah, I have to hold my door handle really high, like I have to really push it up to get it to lock. And as I'm doing that, I'm like struggling, and then suddenly my phone slips out of my hand and falls directly in the watering can, filling up with water. I had to take it to work that day, and I was worrying. I was like, oh, I don't have this in rice, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna break. And I was telling my grandmother about it because she had kind of seen it because she was the one who was taking me into work. And I'm just like, oh no, it's broken. It's gonna be broken. And then I think I had gotten on. I got it on once when I was working. Like within the first 5 minutes, I was able to turn it on once, and I was like, good, good, good. I got it on. I got it on. But it immediately shut off again, and I was like, okay. And then I think 10 minutes, 10 to half an hour later, I got it on it. I got it on again, and then same thing, shut off again. And I was like, oh no, this is breaking. I'm like, maybe I can save this. And I get home and I put it in my. I tell my dad what happened. We get into a thing of rice. We open like two giant things of rice and we put it into a small bowl and we leave it there for a day. But I left it there. But my dad was like, "Oh, leave it there for two, just in case." I leave it for like a day and a half, and it's getting late. And before before that kind of first day was up, before like when we had just sat in the rice, my dad was like, "All right, we have a couple spare phones in the house," and he was like, This is the model phone I'm using, but this one's 2 years old because I've had it for 2 years." And he gives that to me, and I'm like, "Okay." And then while the 2 days are going by of having the phone in the rice, I'm using the phone. I've gotten like Dragon Ball. I've got my Dragon Ball Z Dokkan on that. I'm just kind of playing around with that and making sure my count is fine and that I've linked it up properly. All that good jazz. Anyways, I went to the shower that day. 2 days after. After like a link up Dokkan and everything. I went to the shower, and as a normal person, you bring your phone to the shower because I have like a Fitbit and I have a necklace that I wear, and I brought my headsets just in case. I wasn't going to use them, but I like to have all my stuff with me because otherwise I forget where it goes. So I bring up my phone, and I just finished in the shower. I was just drying off, and then I picked up my phone to go look at something on it because I wanted to like load up a video for when I finish out of the shower, or like just type up a YouTuber's name and get ready to watch the channel when I finish. And I love how I'm fully dressed, walking out of the bathroom, take 2 steps, phone falls out of my pocket and falls out of my hand, and immediately breaks. And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I just got a second phone, and it's already broken." And my dad was like, "How did you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. This is just hell." So that happened. Very pissed about that. Not him, me. He was just like befuddled on how I did it. And then I get another, and I like to, when I say another phone, I'm not saying like I get these phones, like I get it off Amazon or anything. No, these are phones that have been in the house for like months. These are phones that are deactivated that we have. And my dad gives me one of the spare phones, and he's like, "I'm running out of phones for you, man." I'm like, "I know. Luckily, Christmas is coming around the corner." But the phone he gives me, and I actually didn't break this one. It was a Vodafone phone, and that thing sucked. I used that thing for about a week, couldn't do anything on it, couldn't even watch YouTube. And my dad gives me what we considered our TV phone, and the TV phone is an older model. It was older than the one that he had given me originally that I smashed on accident. But this phone had cracks all across the screen. This whole thing had been cracked. And what my dad's story is behind that phone is he got gifted like 2018, 2016. And he had dropped it on the day that he got it, which was Christmas. And another thing that he did was he was going, I think he was going to work, and he left the phone on top of his car. And he drove back, and it fell off the car. And I think there was a point where he actually drove over it on accident, or something like that. But he had hopped it off the top of his car twice, so it had fallen off. So this thing is busted. It works grand. Like the whole technology in it in general is fine. But this thing had no screen protector, and it was shattered to bits. I did not break that phone. That phone is still functioning and is still in the house, and I just saw it like 10 minutes ago. That thing still works, and I am amazed because that thing is a feckin' trooper. The whole thing has just been shattered to pieces, and it just works. And this is something I'm gonna mention, and this was not a good thing. So I can't believe I'm gonna mention this one because my younger I went to my cousins today, and they mentioned this to me, and I was confused. And then they reminded me of what the story was, and immediately I feel like I went pale because I remembered it, and I hate myself for saying this. So there was a period where my dad was like giving me the keys, and he was like, "Okay, like this is your own set of keys." And it was late one night, and I think I was going with the same cousins, the same cousins I was talking to today. I was with them, and their mother had dropped me back. And what happened was I ended up using my keys to get in the house. What I didn't know, and I'm so fucking lucky about this, and I know one of my sisters is gonna see this video maybe in a couple months and go like, I can't believe you're this irresponsible. This was an absolute accident. But when I opened up the door, I left my keys outside in the door. It was only because like 2 or 3 hours later, I went to go lock the door, and I went, "Where are my keys?" And I started rushing around the house, and then I opened up the door, and I saw the keys in the door on the outside. And I'm like, "Oh crap!" And I am so lucky. I live in a neighborhood with a lot of good people. Like, oh my god, everyone in my neighborhood is so nice. This is like a neighborhood block of like 8 houses. They are all so nice. Like even the one who's like next to me, he's kind of he's a plumber, and like my dad knows him quite well. We occasionally do his lawn, and it's a very small lawn. Both of all the houses in this small estate that I live in, we have quite small lawns. So we do his lawn. So we have like a good relationship built up. And the other house next to me is Exotics, the one who streams on Twitch. So literally, I have like the two nicest people next to me that I technically have good connections with. And the one thing I realized a day after was, you do realize any of them could have like driven up past my house, or driven to my house, or driven like next to it, and could have knocked on my door and gone, "Your keys are outside." None of them did that. But I'm lucky that no one stole it. So I'm as much as I could be a little bit like, "Oh, they didn't do this." No one stole the keys, so I am not going to complain. God, I'm an idiot. I am such an idiot. And, like, this is the stuff that you guys don't see. And I'm hoping when I get the PC in, because I do plan on getting a PC, and my birthday is going around the corner. I'm pretty sure I'm going to upload this on my birthday. So happy birthday to me. But as I said, you guys don't see this. You guys don't see this at all. But when I start streaming more, you will probably see it more and more and more. Because I'll probably be trying to do a Minecraft mod. Let's say I install a mod. Let's say the Mo Creatures mod. And I'm doing it with like one of my friends. I could probably install it wrong. And you'll probably see me on like a live stream just being like, "How do I fix this?" You guys will get to see some amazing stuff from me when this PC comes in, because you will see my full dumbassery on display in HD 4K. It will be amazing. I can't wait for you guys to see that. It will be so much fun. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to this story time. There are more stories like this. I just can't think of them at the moment. Trust me, I am incredibly stupid. And you will get to see that more on display next time. Anyways, guys, thank y'all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Also, I thought I'd put this at the end of the video. This is how much of a dumbass I am currently. I still don't know how to set up a noise gate. I have the function on OBS, and I still don't know how to do that. Oh, God. Why can't I stop being stupid and exposing myself like this? Anyways, yeah, bye, guys.